Why do growing businesses love working in Slack? Let's ask Christy at Ari Bikes.
Running things in Slack saves me so much time.
AI summaries save 97 minutes per week. What say you, Rox from Gosney?
Slack helps us build community, it helps us build connection.
Your partners, vendors and customers all in one place. Take us on home, Ashley from Caraway.
If we didn't have Slack tomorrow, I would explode.
Well, let's not let that happen. Visit slack.com/podcast to get 50% off Slack Business Plus.
I am your host, Stassi Schroeder. Welcome to Tell Me Lies, the official podcast. What's the most unhinged thing of season 3?
Steven, because he's so evil.
I do think he is misunderstood.
You see everyone face consequences.
It's intoxicating. The writers just know how to trick you. There's always a twist in this show.
It's nothing you would expect.
Tell Me Lies, the official podcast, January 6th, and stream the new season of Tell Me Lies, January 13th on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just
Speaking into the void.
But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Katie, we're back with even more Veggie Tales.
Yay! Oh,
You know,
this might be my favorite one.
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes I feel like we just need a good palate cleanser, and Veggie Tales is always a reliable palate cleanser for us.
It really is. And, like, as much as, like, I've... watched these when I was a younger kid. Like, it's fun to go back and be like, oh, this one I actually really enjoy and I still enjoy. It salves the soul.
And I think when we did the second Veggie Tales episode, we thought, like, this is good, but it's a little bit of a step down from the first one.
Right.
This, I think, is the best of the 3 we've watched so far. It's definitely up the ante. I think there's not a bad song in it. So many of the jokes hit. Like, it's a shockingly fun 25 minutes. So we start off, Bob and Larry are on the countertop, and Larry has a shoe on his head. And Bob says, now, you might be wondering why Larry has a shoe on his head. And Larry says, I do. And
Bob, why do I have a shoe on my head?
Yeah. And then he goes... well, we got a letter who wanted to know what it means to love a neighbor. And Larry's like, and that's why I have a shoe on my head. And Bob's like, yes, sort of. And then there's a long pause, and Larry just goes, you got to help me out here, Bob. It's a very, for Larry, kind of, in my memory, being the dim-witted one of the two, he really has an Al Borland, like... I don't follow this.
Yeah.
Kind of like, he's got a real I don't think so, Tim.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, 100%.
Like, that made me laugh out loud. I was like, all right, we're off to a good start. It's 30 seconds and I'm already laughing.
Yeah. And again, it's like, it's not infused with like super Christianity type humor. It's just a very like, okay, I don't understand. And like the kids don't either. And that's what makes it silly and fun, is that like they're meeting the same level of like teaching kids with higher brow humor, which I've always found really great with Veggie Tales, and this is like the best example of it.
Well, and I think even further, you go to this first story, right? And we talk about how, from everything we can see, Phil Vassar is a very progressive Christian in 2025. Yeah. And this whole first story, which usually the ones that are super rooted in Bible stories are the ones that I kind of get toned out on. Yeah. But I love that they're doing the Good Samaritan story.
Yes.
They're doing it correctly by truly establishing how much, like, something that has gotten so muddied in the Good Samaritan story is the absolute blood feud between
the two factions.
The two factions, like, that always gets like, oh yeah, no one helped him except for this one guy, and that's why he's a good Samaritan. And it's like, no. The word Samaritan doesn't mean a person who does a good thing in that story. It means a whole, like, it's a whole other thing. But then presenting it in the style of Dr. Seuss in a way that kids can understand, like, it just like checks all these boxes. And I actually found myself like choked up at one part of this story, and we'll get there in a second. But I just love presenting the story like a Dr. Seuss poem.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, naming the town like Fibberloo and Flop-de-Doo or whatever. Like, like it's just really...
They're
it
also
is really
like
cute.
they're on a very Seussian style like living space too.
Yeah, I just love that the people behind VeggieTales really like they don't hide their inspirations and their influences. Like, it is like, if you're looking for it, you're finding it. You know, like we talk about it all the time. I think next week or not next week, but I think we're like 1 or 2 videos away from the French peas showing up. And like, that's such an undeniable Monty Python thing that it's like, okay, they wear their influences proudly on their sleeve.
Oh, absolutely.
Constantly. So in this version of it, Larry plays one of the villagers who doesn't want to get involved in any of the fighting. He just wants to play with his lobster toy, which I love this little lobster toy.
I forgot about the lobster toy and how that's the impetus to like get him out.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm going to take my lobster toy for a walk. And he's like walking around, and he gets mugged for his milk money, which is a nickel. And then instead of, you know, they're not going to have Larry beaten up and bloody on the side of the road like in the story. So instead they just shove him in a hole upside down.
Which I even remember, like, as a kid being like, oh, that makes sense because he's a cucumber and he doesn't have arms to get out. So he needs somebody else to help him.
Yeah, he needs help. And then we get both the doctor and the mayor of his own town come out, and they won't help him, and they sing this busy song.
Insanely, like, up in your face song.
Yeah. I am busy.
I'm so
busy. I know that it's not how that goes, but every time I think of it, I start singing it to the tune of I Feel Pretty from West Side
But it kind of has that sort of baduntada, like, you know, like
it's busy, dreadfully busy, much too busy for you.
It's a waltz. It's a waltz.
Yeah, it's a waltz. It's so good. But then I wrote this note. So these two, they can't help him even though he's one of their villagers because they're just so busy.
Yeah.
And then Junior Asparagus from the rival village,
the Samaritan
sees
side,
him.
essentially.
Yes. He sees Larry, and he can see that the shoe is outside. So he knows definitively this is not one of my people. And I wrote, I must be going through something today because when Junior Asparagus is looking at Larry, and in his little rhyme, he says something along the lines of like, you know, would I want his help if it was me in this situation?
Yeah.
Like, I literally
that
sniffled.
Caught me too.
Because I think that's the
eyes.
message. But that's what the message should have been all this time. It's kind of, there's a certain aspect that I think is interesting when we analyze this, where it's like sometimes we watch or listen to something and we're like, okay, this is I can understand why the people who grew up listening to this or watching this are the way that they are in 2025.
Right.
But then there's other times where you watch something and you're like, how have they forgotten the lessons that that they were taught?
That this has taught them, and taught them so well too. Like I can't speak enough to like anybody who teaches a message that has the true heart in it and doing it well, how important that is. Because it does stick with you longer. And I feel like this was one of those like core belief type episodes where I was like, oh yeah, like loving your neighbor doesn't mean like the person that lives right next to you necessarily. It's the people in Gaza or something.
Well, then, you know, Junior helps Larry. He brings Larry to the doctor's office, and they see that it's a villager from the other town that has brought one of their own. And this is when he sings a new variation of the I'm Busy song, now called Love Your Neighbor. And I had to write down the bridge because I forgot how beautiful this bridge to the song is. But it's, if you see someone who's hurt or in need, maybe it's time to perform a good deed. And when you finish, you'll find that it's true. When you make them feel better, you'll feel better too.
Yep.
Like, I have no notes on that sentiment.
None.
At all. Like,
none.
It's so good. The song is so good.
I mean, it's a parable to begin with, which is like, it gets to the heart of the story of what the red letter Christian should be paying attention to. You know, like, it's like, it doesn't matter, like, the sides, the division of it all. What matters is, like, having the decency of humanity to be like, hey, if I were in their shoes, I would want just as much help. And, like, that's a core belief that I feel like has completely been erased from
But this is what's crazy to me is I'm watching this thing from the late 90s and it's shoddy CGI. It's still very good for what it is.
It's pretty good for their fourth episode? It's the fourth?
Third. This is their third. This is insane. It's very, but it's like, you know what?
They upped the ante.
I would feel totally comfortable showing this to a Sunday school or even a senior high youth group today.
Yep.
Because I'm like, it conveys this story in such simple terms so beautifully while still like having humor that resonates and a message that resonates. It doesn't feel dated outside of like, it feels dated the same way that when you watch the first Toy Story, the animation feels dated because you've seen how much it's evolved since its humble beginnings. It's really great. And then we get a classic silly song with Larry.
The classic. I mean, this is the song that everybody comes up with. Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably the iconic one, the hairbrush song. And something that was lost on me as a kid, watching as an adult, and this is the first time we've gotten to really talk about this, is the like black box theater set design that they go for with this, where you can still see the planks of wood holding up the fake door and you can see the people standing behind the fake door for their parts in the song, and everything just looks a little cheap and shoddy, and that it's all on the countertop. You know what I mean? Like, I forgot that the silly songs with Larry's often were still on the countertop, like it was a variety show thing that he quickly threw together.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the genius of how they ended up, I feel like, organizing the actual show, is that you start on the countertop with Bob and Larry, and Bob's like the very like ground based, like, here's the theme of the show, here's the message that we're trying to get across. Larry's the sort of goofy sidekick, and then we come back to Larry after like usually a big lesson or something like that, and then we have a completely different like brain reset. Honestly, very TikTok friendly for
it is. I mean, there's a reason why I think so many TikTok people have Veggie Tales related TikToks talking about stuff like the hairbrush song or his cheeseburger or these other songs that are just like embedded in their brain. Is like Silly Songs with Larry was like an early TikTok song type thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty simplistic thing. He's getting out in the shower and he can't find his hairbrush, and he keeps singing, "Where is my hairbrush?" And different people give him hints on where the hairbrush is, and it plays out almost like a telenovela, the way the music keeps like enhancing the dialogue between the songs, like da da da. But I do love that Bob's line always made me laugh, where he comes in and explains like, "Larry, I'm sorry, it's my fault. I gave your hairbrush to the Peach because he's got hair."
See, my favorite line, I think it's Junior, right? It's like, why do you have a hairbrush? You don't have any hair. It's so good. And then the Peach shows up, and he's got this like Elvis Presley pompadour type look. And he just goes, "Thanks for the hairbrush." That's it. Do we ever see that Peach ever again?
I don't think so. I think this is one of the few times where a character shows up and is never seen and heard of again. To be fair, Peach, not a vegetable.
That's a good point. That's a good. I mean, listen, we could debate about Bob as well, but
That's true. But Bob is debatable. A peach is definitively a fruit.
Yeah. Fair. That's fair.
You've been lost in the woods for hours now, stumbling around in the dark. You come around the bend and see two people roasting marshmallows over a roaring fire. They see you coming into the clearing and gesture over to pull up a log. Welcome to Campfire Ashes. I'm Paul.
And I'm Jess. Join us as we tell each other our originally written spooky stories around the campfire and then dive into the lore and legends that inspired them. Is it something that goes bump in the night? Is it something menacing lurking past the tree line? Or is it just weird and otherworldly? You'll find it here on Campfire Ashes.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, or right here on the Geekscape Network.
And then we get to the story that I specifically remember. I completely forgot about the Good Samaritan portion of this, but this part obviously has always stuck with me. And then realizing what it's a parody of, I understand why it sticks with you as well.
Yeah.
But we start with Junior, and he's running down all the people he wants to invite to his birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly love the interaction of how they write Junior talking to his dad.
Yeah.
Where his dad isn't like, so his dad's like, all right, is there anybody else you want to invite to your birthday? And then he runs down the list and he's like, are you sure you're not forgetting anybody? And he's like, no, that's all the friends I have. And he's like, well, what about our new neighbor, Fernando? And Junior's like, oh, I don't want Fernando. He talks funny. Everyone thinks he's weird. And the way that the dad is just like, listen, like, he doesn't talk funny. He talks differently because he's from somewhere else. But he's not like, we're going to invite Fernando regardless. He's like, I'm going to let you sleep on this and we'll see how you feel in the morning. Like,
I
it
love
is this
that.
beautiful parenting style of like, I'm not going to force you to make this decision, but I'm going to give you the information that I think you don't understand. And I trust you as my child to do the right thing with that information if you give yourself a little bit of time to think about it.
Right. Well, and without sort of like that overhanging like expectation of like, I'm going to give you the night to think about it and then we'll talk in the morning and we'll see what you decide. Like, you know, there wasn't like any of that emphasis.
It was so
just more
calm.
Like, yeah. And like, and he even like mentions Jesus, like calling them to be friendly to their neighbor, you know? And like, I love that it's just sort of like a little bit of a blip in the conversation. And it's like, hey, remember what he teaches us? All right, I'll let you think about it. Like, go ahead. It's a beautiful way of transferring autonomy to a kid that you don't see in any of these Christian shows.
No, and especially because, like, not for nothing, realistically, do you think forcing this kid to invite Fernando is going to make him any friendlier towards Fernando? No. Versus giving him the information for him to get there on his own terms.
Yeah.
Like, that's always going to be the way that it works out. So Junior starts to go to sleep, and all of a sudden Bob and Larry show up in his bedroom, and I'm sure you laughed as hard as I did, where Bob and Larry show up in his bedroom in the middle of the night, and Junior looks at the camera and goes, ooh, deja vu, referencing the first episode where
they show up in his room.
And I was like, that's so funny. Like, that's such a goes over the kid's head. That is strictly for the parents who are watching these tapes with their kids kind of joke.
Well, it also, I think, I'm pretty sure it's what taught me what deja vu was.
100%. There was, I'm sure that there may have been something prior to this, but it was still very early at me being like, what the hell does that mean? Then we find out that they have to save the SS apple pies. And it is
so good.
exactly the Enterprise.
Exactly with a pie on top. And like, even as a kid, I knew that reference. Like, I knew they were going for a Star Trek style thing. Oh, but my God, the references they end up pulling, especially with the Scottish squash. Playing Scotty.
The other thing that I had to laugh at, though, and I was like, good for this show. I did a time check. At 2 minutes into this 12-minute short, they say, we have just 8 minutes to solve this problem. And I'm like, oh, they're like playing this in real time. Like, you know, like they're not saying like, oh, we've got an hour and like this hour flies, but like, it's like, no, we have 8 minutes. That's how long we have to solve this.
Well, and I can't thank them enough for that because, you know, time is not usually represented correctly or accurately in a type of kids show. You know, like it's like, oh, this is going to be later. This is going to be in this amount of time.
And they do play some liberties. I think the whole segment of them on the spaceship is maybe 6.5 to 7 minutes, but still, it's way closer than most of the time that's played in a kid's show.
Totally. Well, and what's also kind of beautiful about it is that it's also prepping the kids watching it, like how long this segment's going to be. And
yes,
I think that's a brilliant, like, weird thing that they maybe weren't intending, but like a great thing for kids who, you know, have like anxiety of the future.
Yes, exactly. Well, so they get on the ship. They meet the squash named Scotty, and he informs them that a meteor made out of popcorn is going to destroy the SS Apple Pies if they don't do something about it. And in the corner are two gourds who keep singing "Meet Me in St. Louis."
Yep.
And he's like, "What about those guys?" They're like, "Oh, we don't talk to those guys. They're the new guys. They're weird." So Junior goes to ask them questions. And he says, like, "Why do you guys sing all the time?" And they're like, "I don't know. I think it's weird you guys don't sing all the time." And one of the gourds, so I had to laugh at this. He goes, "Sometimes differences can be good if you get to know each other." To which Junior Asparagus says, "Yeah, sure. Why do you guys eat so much?"
which that logic jump made me laugh, and I was just like, "Oh, are we fat shaming right now? Like, what are we talking about here?" Because I was like, "That's a wild logic jump there."
Yeah. Well, because they said all they do is sing and eat. So he's like, "All right, let me figure out why they're this way." And then they start getting into this argument back and forth of how hungry each one of them is all the time. And one of them says, "I'm so hungry I could eat a planet." And that's when Junior gets this idea. And he's like, "How many escape pods do we have? 2 escape pods. Grab the gourds." And they're carrying the gourds and they throw them into the escape pods. And then there's just this beat where they're sitting in there and one of them goes, so we just stay here?
So good.
Like, they haven't been informed anything of this plan. They have no clue what's happening. And then the escape pods are fired towards this popcorn meteor, and they're singing "Do You Know the Muffin Man?"
It's hilarious.
And they land on the popcorn, and I love this brilliant, like, cheap way to do something, is that they hit the popcorn, and then it's just the shot of the popcorn meteor, but you're hearing the voiceover of them talking. And, like, it starts off where it's like, "Where are we? Do we think we're where the Muffin Man is?" And he's like, "No, he lives on Mulberry Lane." Or, like, whatever the lyric is that song.
Drury Lane, yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh my God, this is popcorn." And then you just kind of hear the sound of them like munching. Yeah. And then it cuts back to them. And then right as the meteor is supposed to impact, instead the gourds just smack onto the window. And they bring them in and they celebrate. And this is where I wrote this down. I think that this is the best song in VeggieTales history. Sorry, Hairbrush song. Sorry, his cheeseburger, but I think the song's the banger of all bangers.
It's a good one.
I Can Be Your Friend.
Yeah.
This song rules.
It's a banger. Let's be honest. It's a banger.
Yeah. Those la la la, I can be your friend. La la la.
And is it the Green Onions that beat up Larry in the Good Samaritan story that do the la la las?
They're the Scallions. Yeah,
the Scallions,
they do the la las too. Yeah. It's so good. This song is so catchy.
It is. And it's just it's like to use a very inappropriate term of the time. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. Yeah, cut that out. It just like, I love how like sincere all of this episode is without being too Bible thumpy. You know? And like they took a parable, so it is a New Testament story, but like it also has an Old Testament feel, which I think was a brilliant idea in terms of how Jesus taught the parables. Yeah. It's a simplistic thing, but it's something that like you can unite on, and that's one of the things that I really love about this episode is that it gets rid of the religiosity and gets to the core of what the belief is.
The messages are. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so smart. It's such a smart episode. In like a world of super smart VeggieTales episodes. Like I've never been like wildly disappointed by any of these. I've never went, oof, that aged poorly. Like they're all really smart. Of course, we get back to Junior's bedroom where he tells his dad, "You know what? I will invite Fernando." And then we kind of get to the end of that story. That's kind of where everything wraps. We go back to the countertop. The "So What Did We Learn" song starts playing, but Bob walks over and destroys whatever machine plays that song. And then the show ends. We learn Leviticus, love thy neighbor like yourself, and like that's it. You know, it's quick. It's a simple message. It's weird that all these years later, I'm like, yeah, still a message we need.
100%. I
Still
feel
one
like
we need to be reminded of.
I feel like I should just keep posting that episode on Facebook.
You should. You should. I say go for it.
All right.
All right. Well, that is our review of VeggieTales Are You My Neighbor? Now, we've been going in order of VeggieTales episodes so far. We're going to deviate slightly.
Ooh.
We're going to cover VeggieTales one more time this year.
Okay.
Because I think we need to watch for our December the VeggieTales The Toy That Saved Christmas special.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been a minute. Okay,
That's a good one. That's a real good one.
Yeah.
So we'll do that in December, and then I think we might not completely walk away from VeggieTales, but we've done like four in the last 3 months or something like that. So we'll pump the brakes on veggies a little bit.
We'll get a little bit more fruit in.
Exactly. Get that peach back.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.